It started with laughter, cold, dismissive laughter that sliced through the quiet hum of the bank lobby. Every head turned. Behind the counter, the bank manager, David Turner, held up a check with trembling amusement. "Ma'am, this has to be a mistake," he said, smirking. $100,000? Are you sure this isn't supposed to be 10? The black woman standing before him, Angela Pierce, didn't flinch. Her brown eyes were steady, her voice calm, though the humiliation in the air was heavy enough to choke on. "It's correct," she said, handing him her ID. "Now please deposit it into my account." But he didn't move. Instead, he leaned back, crossing his arms. "You understand we have to verify something like this, right? You wouldn't believe how many people try to pull stunts with fake checks these days." Angela exhaled softly. She'd been through this before. People doubting her, judging her by what they saw, not what she'd earned. But this time was different. This time she wasn't walking away quietly. Before we dive into how this unbelievable moment flipped everything upside down, if you love true stories of power, justice, and sweet revenge, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you never miss my next upload. Because of this story, it's not just about a bank deposit. It's about how a single moment of arrogance exposed an entire system built on prejudice, and how one woman's grace turned humiliation into history. Now let's get into it. Angela Pierce wasn't just any customer. She was a respected cybersecurity consultant, the kind of professional whose work quietly saved corporations from disaster. The check she handed over? Payment for a project that stopped a multi-million-dollar data breach at North Tech Industries, one of the state's biggest companies. But David Turner didn't see a professional woman. He saw only her skin, her modest clothes, and her calm demeanor, and mistook dignity for weakness. "Tell me, Ms. Pierce," he said mockingly, flipping the check. "What exactly do you consult on? Fashion? Social media?" The other customers shifted uncomfortably. One teller tried to speak up, but David waved her off. He was enjoying the show too much. Angela's patience cracked just slightly. "Cybersecurity," she said evenly, "and that's the payment for preventing a data breach that could have ruined your bank's biggest client." He chuckled, pretending not to hear. "Sure it is. I'll need to verify this with the company." "Go ahead," she said, folding her arms. "Please do." He smirked, picking up the phone and dialing the number on the check. His tone changed instantly when a voice answered. "Yes, this is David Turner from North Bank. I need to verify a check made out to Angela Pierce." There was a pause. Then the woman on the other end spoke sharply. "Oh, you mean Dr. Pierce? Please help our CEO." David froze. "Doctor?" Moments later, another voice came on, strong, commanding. "This is Michael Hollingsworth, CEO of North Tech. Is there an issue with Dr. Pierce's payment?" David stammered. "No, sir, I just, wanted to confirm the amount." The CEO cut him off. "You don't confirm checks from my office, Mr. Turner. You cash them. Dr. Pierce saved my company from losing over $20 million last month. I suggest you show her the respect she deserves." The line went dead. David's face was drained of color. The same arrogance that had puffed him up moments ago now shrank him into silence. His staff stared at him wide-eyed. Angela simply smiled, calm and composed. "Is there a problem?" she asked quietly. He shook his head rapidly. "No, Dr. Pierce, of course not. Your deposit will be processed immediately." The humiliation was complete. But Angela didn't gloat. She leaned in just enough for him to hear her next words. "Respect is free, Mr. Turner, but ignorance? That's expensive." She turned to leave, her heels clicking against the marble floor like the sound of poetic justice. But just as she reached the door, a voice called after her. "Dr. Pierce!" She turned to see a young teller, Maya, hurrying toward her. "I just wanted to say thank you for standing up for yourself. He does that to people all the time." Angela gave a small smile. "Then maybe today's the day it stops." Later that evening, while David sat in his office trying to shake off the embarrassment, his phone buzzed. It was an internal message from the bank's board of directors. "Urgent. CEO Michael Hollingsworth requested a full review of your conduct today regarding a high-profile client. Expect contact from corporate compliance tomorrow." His hands began to tremble. He knew what that meant. His career, the one built on charm, manipulation, and condescension, was about to crumble. But that wasn't the end. The next morning, headlines appeared on financial news sites. North Bank under scrutiny after manager's discrimination against prominent consultant. The story spread fast. Customers posted about their own experiences of bias at the branch. A quiet revolt began brewing online. By noon, reporters were stationed outside the bank. David couldn't even step outside without cameras flashing in his face. And as fate would have it, one of those cameras caught Angela Pierce arriving in a sleek black car. She wasn't there for revenge. She was there for business. The CEO himself had invited her to speak at a press conference announcing a new corporate partnership between Northtech and North Bank, a cybersecurity initiative led by her. Standing at the podium, she glanced toward David, who was watching from behind the glass doors, pale and defeated. Her voice carried strength, not spite. Every system, whether digital or human, fails when arrogance replaces respect. But the good news is, systems can be rebuilt. The crowd erupted in applause. Cameras flashed. The moment went viral across social media. David's resignation came hours later, but the damage was already done. His name would forever be associated with humiliation, and hers with grace and triumph. As the conference ended, Angela stepped away from the cameras, her smile fading just slightly. Her assistant approached, handing her a sealed envelope marked "Confidential." Inside was a single sheet of paper, a list of executives under investigation for unethical behavior. And at the very top of the list was David Turner's mentor, a high-ranking corporate official who had quietly built the same culture of discrimination that Angela had just exposed. She folded the paper, her expression hardening. This wasn't over, not yet. Here's a question for you. If you were in Angela's place, would you have exposed David publicly or let karma run its course quietly? Leave your answer in the comments section. Before we continue, if you're really enjoying this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another powerful story like this one. Because what's coming next will prove one thing. Sometimes karma doesn't take years to arrive. It shows up the very next morning. After the humiliating encounter at the bank, Angela Pierce thought she had put the incident behind her. She'd already been contacted by Northtech's CEO, who promised a public apology and a partnership announcement that would clear her name in front of the world. But while Angela had moved on with quiet dignity, David Turner, the bank manager who had mocked and doubted her, couldn't sleep. His name was trending online. Customers were flooding the bank's social media pages with anger and disgust. And the cruel irony? The man who had laughed at Angela's check was now on the verge of losing everything over a single deposit slip. The next morning, David arrived at work to find corporate investigators waiting in his office. They handed him a file, filled with screenshots, witness statements, and video footage from the security cameras. "Mr. Turner," one of them said coldly, "do you realize what your behavior has cost this bank in the last 24 hours? He tried to defend himself. "It was a misunderstanding. I was just verifying." The investigator cut him off. "No, you were humiliating a client who happens to be one of our largest partners' consultants. The CEO himself had to issue an apology on your behalf." David sank into his chair. He could already feel his career slipping through his fingers. But the investigator wasn't done. "The board has decided to suspend you pending termination review. You'll be escorted off the premises today." That was it. The proud, arrogant manager, the man who once smirked from behind his glass desk, was being walked out by security. The other employees watched silently. Some of them even clapped quietly once he was gone. Meanwhile, across town, Angela was standing on the 40th floor of Northtech's headquarters, overlooking the city skyline. She had been invited to a private meeting with Michael Hollingsworth, the CEO. He greeted her warmly. "Dr. Pierce, I owe you more than an apology. I owe you a platform. What happened to you was unacceptable, but your professionalism afterward, that's what impressed everyone." Angela smiled softly. "Thank you, Michael. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted to be treated like a human being." Michael nodded. "And you deserve far more than that, which is why I want to offer you something. He slid a folder across the table. Inside were documents, a proposal for her to lead NorthTech's new ethical leadership initiative, a program designed to promote equality and integrity across their corporate partners. Angela blinked, stunned. "You want me to lead this?" "Yes," he said, "because you've lived it, and you handled your situation with more grace than most people ever could." As Angela left the building, her heart felt lighter than it had in months. But fate wasn't done writing her story. That afternoon, she received an unexpected phone call from Maya, the young bank teller who had defended her. "Dr. Pierce," Maya said nervously, "I hope you don't mind me calling, but I thought you should know. Mr. Turner came back. He was waiting in the parking lot after they fired him." Angela frowned. "Is everything okay?" He was crying," Maya said. "He said he just wanted to apologize to you in person." Angela was quiet for a long moment. Then she said softly, "Tell him he doesn't need to. I already forgave him." That evening, the local news aired the story. "Bank manager fired after discriminatory incident. Victim responds with grace." Reporters asked Angela for a statement. She looked straight into the camera and said, "People make mistakes. But real justice isn't about destroying someone. It's about transforming what caused the mistake in the first place. I hope he learns. I hope the whole system learns." Her words went viral. Millions praised her dignity. Even those who had never experienced prejudice could feel the strength behind her calm voice. But the most emotional moment came a week later. Angela returned to the same bank. This time not as a customer, but as a guest speaker. The new branch manager had invited her to speak during their diversity and leadership seminar. Every employee was present, including Maya. As Angela took the microphone, the room fell silent. She began softly. "A week ago, I walked into this bank as a regular customer. I was doubted, disrespected, and made to feel small for no reason other than someone's assumption. But today, I stand here not as a victim, but as a voice." She paused, scanning the crowd. "You see, respect doesn't depend on what's in your bank account, your clothes, or your title. It depends on your character. The moment we forget that, we lose our humanity." The audience sat in stunned silence. Some employees wiped tears from their eyes. Angela continued, "If we want to build a fair world, we must start with how we treat each other. Not when cameras are rolling, but when nobody's watching." Applause erupted. The same walls that once echoed with David Turner's laughter now carried the sound of something far stronger. Redemption. Later, as Angela walked out of the bank for the final time, she saw someone standing quietly by the sidewalk. It was David. He looked nothing like the confident man she once met. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes tired, his pride gone. He stepped forward, his voice trembling. "Dr. Pierce, I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I needed to say I'm sorry. I see now what I couldn't see before." Angela looked at him, really looked. Then she said, "Growth begins the moment you realize respect is worth more than status." She nodded once, then walked away, leaving him standing there, humbled, but finally free of arrogance. That night, Angela received one final email from North Bank's headquarters. It read, "Dr. Pierce, as part of our new ethical leadership initiative, we are naming our first corporate scholarship in your honor, the Angela Pierce Integrity Award." Tears filled her eyes, not out of pride, but relief. Justice had been served, not through punishment, but through transformation. Life lesson. True justice doesn't always roar like thunder. Sometimes it whispers, through forgiveness, through courage, through quiet dignity that outshines cruelty. Angela didn't just win her battle. She changed an entire system by refusing to let bitterness define her. If someone publicly disrespected you like David did, would you forgive them? Or make sure they faced consequences first? Comment your answer below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that remind us